Hey YouTube, welcome to my latest episode of my vlog of multi-tools where I discuss all manner of multi-tool. You're at the We All Juggle Knives channel, by the way. So in this episode, well, I've got a few that I've already done full reviews of, the Victorinox Farmer X and the Leatherman K2. Right, so I'm going to answer some questions that came up in those reviews, and especially people's objections to those items. Like, are there any reasons, in retrospect, are there any reasons you shouldn't buy them? I'll talk about what people didn't like about those tools. But I also have a new Victorinox that I got. Yeah, what is that one? You will see. And I have a bunch of budget multi-tools here. We've got the Multiforce. Now, I know that says Mossy Oak, but trust me, this is the Ozark Trail Multiforce. I'll explain that later. And we've got that multi-tool. We got a new Bibury multi-tool. Right, that one, it's the Xintong multi-tool. Now, the Multiforce, I've been told, is around $40 at Walmart. That Xintong multi-tool, $30 plus shipping on Amazon. The new Bibury is only $20, so that's promising in the budget category. So I'll give you overviews of those. Alright, so, yeah, I hope you enjoy this video. Let's get into it. Alright, YouTube, let's check out this Bibury 16-in-1 multi-tool. This was only $20, but prices are subject to change. Comes in this nice hard case. Alright, very nice. So here are the pliers. They're spring-loaded, and you see it has a pocket clip there too. Right, and it says the steel that the plier head is made of, 420 J2. It's a stainless steel. That steel it's good for the head of pliers. It's not as good if it was a knife blade, but for a big chunk of metal, it's not bad. Now this also has one-handed opening for the knife blade. It's an opening slot if you're right-handed, or if you're just using your right hand. I'm actually left-handed, but alright, so the one-handed opening works well. Now all the tools on this lock, and to disengage the lock, just press where it says the open lock icon. Alright, this is locked now. I'll press that and it's disengaged. And here are all the other tools folded out. So as you see, it has a plain edge knife blade, it has a metal file which has ruler markings on the other side, it's got a bottle opener, it's got two different screwdrivers, then on the other side it has a small serrated blade, it has scissors, a mini screwdriver, and a can opener with another screwdriver on the end. Alright, so what do I think of that tool set? Well, the only things I see that are missing would be a wood saw and a reamer. So I'm guessing they do not mean this for woodwork or bushcraft, but rather for urban or suburban, or maybe around the house or in a machine shop. Basically any place that you won't need to saw through or notch wood. So this would be in between like the toolbox approach and the minimalist approach. It doesn't have every tool, but it has a lot of tools, so it's kind of in between, which for $20, I think it's pretty reasonable. Alright, now this is going to be an overview, and if there's enough interest, maybe I'll do a full review. But one thing I do want to test right here would be the scissors, because to me, crappy scissors would just be an automatic no-go. So I got some paracord here. Let's test the scissors. Alright. Excellent scissors. They did very well on the paracord. The reason these are good, even though this is only a $20 tool, well, one, it has a thumb pad for some leverage. They're larger than a lot of scissors. Good tolerances, they're no loose pivot, and they came sharp. Alright, so those scissors were a superstar, but Bibury has also asked me how to improve this multi-tool. Well, I'll tell you, there's a lot of room for improvement on that metal file. It's only one-sided. It's got ruler markings, but it's only one-sided as far as the file surface. So an easy way to improve this tool would be to give you a three-sided file. So note how on the Victorinox, this metal file, you got file surface here, here, and here. this can actually hacksaw through aluminum fencing. I know people who've done it, right? So a three-sided file would be much more useful. So that would be my advice, and also to make the file longer, as long as possible. Now, I don't know how well you can see in there, right? But there is some extra room. They could have made this longer. There's some unused room in there. They might have to make it, taper slightly or whatever, but there is unused room in there. So you actually could make the file longer, because right now it's pretty short compared to the length of the handle. So make the file three-sided and a little longer, and that's how I would improve this tool. All right, final thoughts on this new Bibury tool. Well, I definitely like this nice hard case it came with. I'm going to recycle that, put that to some use. It did not come with a belt pouch, but it does have the clip. I like that they tell you what steel the plier head is made out of. I appreciate that sort of transparency with materials, so that's good. The scissors were a superstar. Give A+ to the scissors. And the room for improvement, like we said, that file could definitely be improved. So I hope they will do that. But the other good parts about this, the tools are outboard. That's good. All the tools lock. That's good as well. And the price, $20. Price is subject to change, but I paid $20 for mine, and yeah, I definitely think I got $20 worth of tool with this. So the link to this and other Bibury models will be in the text description box. Right. Oh, and the lack of the wood saw, that's because Bibury has a lot of other models that do have a wood saw. So if you need a wood saw, they just figure you probably already bought one of their other models. So you can check them all out in the text description box. You can get them on Amazon, and I think they're on Prime, so that's good. All right, so try to use those links. They help out the channel. All right, YouTube, let's check out the Ozark Trail Multiforce multi-tool. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why does it say mossy oak on the Ozark Trail Multiforce, or at least the case? Well, this is the case that it came with, by the way. Well, it's kind of a funny story, really. So you see, this is a Multiforce. It says mossy oak. What I've been told is that that's just a misprint. This is an Ozark Trail Multiforce. They just made a mistake. I guess the same company makes different items for both mossy oak and for Ozark Trail, and they just mistakenly printed that on this. But this is the Multiforce, so I'm going to... And they don't sell these anymore because it was a mistake. So if you buy one from Walmart, it's going to say Ozark Trail. All right, so you saw the pouch, but it also came with this bit adapter and extender. All right, here are the pliers. They are not spring-loaded, but there they are. And we got some one-handed opening action, at least if you use your right hand. You got a plain edge blade, and you got a serrated blade. And these lock, so that's the lock. To disengage it, you press there. The two other long tools are a metal file and a wood saw. Where's the scissors? Ah, the scissors, they're small, like on a wave. And the smaller tools are an opening tool with a wire stripping notch, a hefty flathead screwdriver, some small scissors, small but powerful. And on this side you got a bit driver, which has got a double-sided bit. Now this is standard size, right? So you could buy more bits that will fit this if you can find the two-sided ones, definitely. So what do I think of that tool set? Well, it's pretty darn comprehensive. You know, they spent their 4 slots, the 4 longer slots, wisely, and then to include scissors, they gave you some little scissors, the same solution that the Wave came up with. The only thing it seems to be missing is a reamer, right? So no reamer on this, but it's got pretty much everything else in the kitchen sink. Yeah, so what is the story with this Multiforce? Well, you know, the Multiforce has been called the Walmart Wave because you see the similarities there, right? But as I've heard that the price is around $40. Now prices can change all the time, but that's what I've heard. I've actually gotten many requests to review a Multiforce. but I did not because, well, basically for a long time you could only get it at Walmart, and the nearest Walmart to me is an hour away, and I don't like going there. Plus, I checked their online thing, and they didn't even have it in stock at the crappy Walmart that's an hour away from me, so I didn't get it. But then I saw this pop up on Amazon, and I got it. Unfortunately, I don't think they sell this on Amazon anymore, at least right now. I don't think they're allowed to, really. I don't think they're allowed to. I think it was like a mistake or something. So basically, God help us all, you're going to have to go to Walmart if you want one of these. Yeah, I don't know. That's up to you, man. $40? I mean, if you want a wave and you can't afford one, you should probably try to save up and buy a wave. However, while you are saving up, you might want to try this just as a stopgap. And if this serves you well, maybe you might find out, hey, maybe you can just live without the premium tool. That's my take on it. I'm not saying it's going to replace my wave or anything. Obviously not, but it's less than half the price that I paid for my wave. Alright, so like I said, I can't give you a link because there's no Amazon link any longer for this. You'll have to just go find one in the real world. Now, I most likely will not do a full review of this just because this has been out a while and because so many people go to Walmart. Like, there's like already so many reviews of this out there. I watched them all. Like, before I bought mine, I watched them all. So, yeah, you can check those out. And I appreciate those people's good work. But I feel bad for them because all the comments are just going to be people debating whether it's okay that this was made rather than the function of the tool itself. But so it goes. Alright, YouTube, now this is not a multi-tool, but it is a utility tool. You know, all knives are also tools, right? Knives are cutting tools, but a utility knife is even more on the tool side of the spectrum. So I thought you might want to know about this. Yes, Estwing does sell a keychain. Look how it's basically very small, right? Fit in your palm, fit on your keychain, although it is a little thick. It does lock. But yeah, Estwing now sells a mini keychain utility knife. You can open it one-handed like that. And yeah, I thought you might just want to know that this is out there. Could be useful on your keychain, but you know, most Estwing stuff is made in the USA, but this is actually made in China. Yeah. Estwing, you went over to the dark side. I don't know. What I wonder, if they made this in the USA, like how much more expensive would it be? Because if it's only a few dollars more, then I think we'd prefer it in the US. But if it's not doable, it's not doable. I don't know. But yeah, I thought you might want to know this is out there. I'll include a link in the text description box. Alright, let's talk Leathermans. You got the Leatherman Free K2, and above that is the K4. Now, I do have a review of the K2 out, so you can go check that out. In this part of the video, I'm just going to answer questions and talk about people's objections, what they didn't like about it. Should you still buy it, you know, given the objections? I don't have a review of the K4 out because I got to redo my review. Found out that my scissors were a bit janky compared to everybody else's scissors, so I'm going to redo that review and explain that issue. But as far as a brief summary, what tools do these have? Alright, so both of these have the plain edge blade. They have 3 different sizes of screwdriver. They have a bottle opener, a reamer, a package opener, and a pry tool. But the K4 also has some scissors, and because of that, it's a little bit thicker and heavier and a little bit more expensive. The price on the K2 right now is $70. Price is subject to change. Alright, so these have an opening slot and it opens smoothly, and that's the lock. And this lock right here is for all the other tools, which you can basically open by just pushing on there. And those all lock as well. So basically everything locks and everything is one-handed opening, so that's pretty good. Here's how wide it is. It's not excessively wide. Some people are scared of that, but no, I don't find it to be excessively wide. You can check out my usage of it in my review. Now, by far the biggest objection to this from commenters was objecting to the price. They just some people felt it was not worth $70. Well, I can kind of see how you'd feel that way, because I kind of felt that way when I first saw it just on a video. But when you get it in your hand and you actually use it for a bunch of stuff, you tend to come to the other side of the argument. You know, you tend to figure, you know, it is pretty useful. But that being said, prices creeping up, that's afflicted most of the Leatherman models, and that's real, that's true. Their prices have definitely been creeping up in the last few years, and it's definitely not a trend that I support. So I do think Leatherman does tend to overprice their stuff just a bit. I think they will continue to do so, because if you really want something, even if you feel that maybe it's $10 or even $20 overpriced, most people will just save up for it, and maybe they won't buy it as fast as they would have, but they'll eventually buy it. And so Leatherman has gotten used to making those profits, and so I think it's a bad trend, but I do think it will continue. Everything's just getting more expensive. Alright, so if you want to pick up either of these or some other Leatherman products, I will include my master list of my favorite Leathermans in the text description box, and you can browse them. I do think this is probably one of the most useful of the new line, right? You know, they've got the P series, the K series, and the T series. The K series is my favorite so far. Alright, so check out those links. They do help the channel, and I really appreciate it. I got an interesting Victorinox here. Can you guess which one this is? Can you guess? Swiss Champ? No. Craftsman or Handyman? No. Alright, this is actually, well, let me give you one more hint. There, I put out the fish scaler. What is it? This is actually, it looks more like a Swiss Champ now, but it's not, because a Swiss Champ has pliers and this does not. This is actually the Victorinox Champion Plus. Yeah, a lesser known Victorinox. I had not really heard too much about this, so it basically piqued my interest, so I picked one up. Alright, there are a few sellers that sell this. I'm not sure if that's old stock or what, but I'll include the links for as long as it lasts. But yeah, alright, so you see the thickness here, right? The difference, one major difference, the Swiss Champ has the pliers. This does not have the layer with the pliers. But what it does have, which the Handyman and the Craftsman do not have, it actually has the magnifying glass, right, and that Phillips. Alright, so this has your typical Victorinox plain edge blade and then a little penknife blade. And it also has your two openers. That one's hard to open with this open, but it's got your two openers that are pretty standard. And it's got all the long tools except the pliers. And that's pretty interesting. A lot of older people have told me that they find this very useful if they're having trouble reading something. And I know people try to start their survival fires with it. Maybe I'll try that. Now this is very useful. I know from reviewing other models that have this and the magnifying glass, a lot of people will buy them for this, right? They just definitely like that particular driver. Right, it has a stop there, right? And it also has the plus scales, which means that it has the pen, and it's got the straight pin there as well. And you got the file. That's quite useful, not just on metal, but on plastic, on wood, and you can hack through aluminum fencing with that. The fish scaler, not much fishing where I live. I'm trying to think, how could I regrind this into something else that might be more useful if there's not a lot of fishing where you live? All right, wood saw, I use those all the time. Excellent Victorinox scissors. Always come very sharp. And then on the back, yeah, you got a hook, you got a reamer, you got a corkscrew, you got another little screwdriver, and you've got the chisel, right? But the chisel doesn't lock, so you got to be careful when chiseling. But it's always nice to have a chisel if you do a little bit of the woodworking. Here's the hook, which is very controversial. It has some uses. You can basically, I've seen people out camping where they pick something up, you know, by the handle because it's hot, it's been cooking. So that's one use of your hook. I've also heard people say they use it to tighten their boot laces. All right, that's creative. Now, kind of the fascinating thing about the Champion Plus is that, you know, kind of it being a Swiss champ without the pliers, you might think, oh, so it's just inferior, but it's a little less heavy and it's a little less thick, right? So you do get something for it. And to kind of make the argument for the Champion Plus, a lot of people, if they think they're going to need pliers, they carry like a Leatherman or some other plier-based multi-tool. So if you don't really anticipate needing pliers, but you want everything else, you might actually carry this instead of a Swiss champ. And I know a lot of people don't carry the Swiss champ, but many people do. I've seen the reviews. So yeah, this is in between the Swiss champ and the Handyman Craftsman, right? It's right in between as far as thickness and the amount of tools it has. So yeah, a lesser known one. I got it from curiosity and have a little bit of a collector bug for Swiss knives as well. But if you didn't know that this knife exists, yep, the Champion Plus does exist. I'll include lots of Victorinox links and you can go browse them at your leisure, but I thought you'd enjoy seeing it. All right, some of the biggest news this year regarding Victorinox has been this thing has become available, the Victorinox Farmer X. It is a Victorinox Farmer with scissors added. It's got the attractive ALOX scales. I've already done a full review of this. You can check that out. I'll include the link in the text description box. But the good thing about discussion vlogs is then when people ask questions or have objections in the review, I can then discuss what people bring up. So is there anything wrong with this? Did people hate it? Well, the main objection people had to the Farmer X was not that they didn't like it, but that there was another Victorinox model that they liked better. Yes, so there wasn't really much hate, but some people do feel that, let's say, the Fieldmaster, the Huntsman, someone said the Ranger, someone said some of the other ALOX, like maybe the Electrician in ALOX is perfect for you. So yeah, nothing wrong with this. It's just not everybody agrees on what an optimum tool set would be. Yeah, other thoughts on this Farmer X. You know, if I could make my ideal model, what I would do, I would remove one of the openers and then just have the combo opener that Victorinox has. And then in the other small slot, I would put the Electrician blade, because that's a useful utility blade. And then once you have that as a plain edge blade, I would go ahead and put the awesome Victorinox serrations on the longer blade. So you'd have two blades, one utility and then one like kind of you could use to saw through things. Right? And I would keep the scissors, I would keep the saw, and I would keep that reamer. So yeah, that's what I would do. That's the model I would make if I was allowed to design them for Victorinox. Now, one thing I will say, since I reviewed this, I've actually used this reamer a lot, and I definitely prefer the inline reamer to the other kind on the other models from Victorinox. This just works very well. All right, I just today I used it to drill. Hold on, you see that? You see that hole there? See that hole? I use that to drill that. That's gonna, I got to make it just wide enough to put some paracord on there. I've made a heck of a lot of little letter openers and little, spikes like this, and you see that? You see that hole there again? I drilled that with that reamer, and I'm learning paracord now. I learned how to do this repeating knot to make a lanyard. I learned that on YouTube just from watching a YouTube video. And the idea of this particular thing is that basically the lanyard gives you more to hold on to if you were to have to pierce like down to here, which hopefully you wouldn't have to do. But I just make these for fun. I mean, it's a little hobby, woodworking, and I try to make them nicer and nicer. Like I'm learning some woodworking stuff, like how to make borders like that, how to make little grooves. But yeah, I definitely like the reamer, and I use that all the time. The other thing about Farmer X is like with woodworking, you can drill the holes, you can saw some grooves with a wood saw, you can whittle with the blade, and you can cut the paracord with the scissors. Like if only this had like a lighter that you could burn the ends of the paracord, that would be great, but I guess you can't have everything. But overall, I do think that this is one of their best models and one of their best ALOX models as well. So if you don't have one, consider it. You can pick them up. I will include a list of all their ALOX models by Victorinox in the text description box. All right, next up, what is this? Well, this is the Zingtong Multitool, and I'm sure I'm not pronouncing that right, but it was $30. Comes in this pouch. It's got a belt loop on the pouch. Here is the tool. All right, so here are the pliers with the wire cutters, and they are spring loaded as well. All right, so you got 4 long tools that are outboard tools. You got one-handed opening on a plain edge blade, and you got one-handed opening on a wood saw, right, for the right hand, and then you want to use your left hand. You got one-handed opening on a metal file, and you got some scissors. Can we open those? Yeah, for some scissors as well. Now this tool was $30, by the way, plus $5 shipping. All right, so budget category, but not super cheap. What do I think of the 4 longer tools? It's a good choice. They've basically given you some nice big scissors. They've left off a serrated blade, which I don't really mind very much because if I need a serrated blade, I just carry a separate knife that's serrated, and it'll be better than anything they could fit into a multi-tool handle. You just press that to unlock it. So they all lock, that's good. So as far as the shorter tools, it's got a cutting hook, a can opener, a bottle opener with screwdriver ends. It's got another screwdriver, and it's got a nice reamer and sewing awl. So yeah, those are pretty good. So what do I think of that tool set? Well, it's pretty comprehensive. Definitely a toolbox style of multi-tool, trying to give you almost everything. The only thing they've left off is just that serrated blade, right? So, you know, what other toolbox multi-tools are there out there? Well, the Surge is the top of the heap, right? My Leatherman Surge. So this would be like, you know, a poor man, like a very poor man's version of that. Obviously not exactly the same, of course, but the same idea. It's like competing. Basically, if you wanted a Surge, but you only had $35, save up for a Surge. Now, you know, save up for a Surge, yes, but in the meantime, you might consider something like this. Now, as I said, I'm calling this the Xintong multi-tool because that's how it's listed on Amazon, but Xintong is not really the name of the tool, that's actually the name of the company that is selling it. And a Xintong, it's actually a type of candy. I guess that company also makes stuff that makes candy, whatever, but yeah. If anybody knows the real name, or if I find out the real name of the tool itself, I'll list that in the text description box as well. But I have to say, this is the type of thing that could disappear quickly. So if you do think you need this, just act quickly, because I can already tell this thing might disappear. Now, when I ordered this, it was on Amazon Prime, so I got it 2-day shipping. Free return if anything went wrong, so that was good. But now I think the Amazon Primes are sold out, so double check the shipping if you order this. You know, it might be a much longer shipping, right? But again, I don't think they're getting more in Amazon's warehouse. I think that might be it. So take your chances, make your choices. Now again, this is just an overview, not a full review, but I just want to test out the scissors a little bit. Okay, well the scissors appear to be pretty good. And one more little demo. Let's try out the initial sharpness, shall we? Oh, that was my bad. My tripod got in the way. Alright, there we go. Alright, so it's not bad. So you see the initial sharpness, not bad. So as far as like the initial quality, the scissors, and the edge weren't bad, so I don't know what that can tell you. Alright, so my final initial impressions on this, the edge was pretty good, the scissors worked well, it's a little bit heavy, this does offer a lot of tools. I personally wouldn't have the cutting hook, I would replace that with something else, maybe replace that and one of the other small tools and have a bit driver, although you could probably fit an adapter over that Phillips anyway. But in general, this is a pretty awesome tool set. I really like the tool set. Not a perfect multi-tool for sure because, for example, all those cutouts, you know, they had to put those cutouts there for lightness. Otherwise, this thing would have been like a rock, right? But because they put those cutouts, now, like let's say you drop it in the mud and the dirt, it's going to kind of crap that up. But at least it is easy to spray through those to clean it, but still those tend to attract crud, but they had no choice because they wanted it light enough to actually carry conveniently. So, you know, so it has pros and cons like any multi-tool, but initially I do feel it was worth the $30 plus the $5 shipping that I paid. But like I said, I got it on Prime, so if it was crap, I was just going to return it. That's the beauty of Prime. So if you want to try one of these, I'll include the link in the text description box for as long as it lasts. Alright YouTube, well I hope you enjoyed this discussion and overviews of some multi-tools that I've been checking out in the past several months. Right? And if you like videos like this, go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already done so. And like I said, I also do full demonstration reviews when enough people ask. So I've already done it for the Farmer X and that Leatherman, so you can check out those videos. All right, and also if you enjoy videos like this, please try to use the links I include in the text description box. Do your normal shopping. Those are all Amazon links and they do help out the channel and I really appreciate it. All right, this has been We All Juggle Knives. I'm out.